this is to get your better hand. So my better hand is my right hand. And I think forward figure eight is a little easier. So I'm going to start on my top of my shoulder, because when you start on your shoulder, you're always going forward. When you start down here, you're always going backwards. So I'm going to start on my shoulder, I'm going to do my forward figure eight. Now I'm not even going to try to concentrate on this figure eight. I'm going to concentrate on my left hand. I'm going to concentrate on going backwards. I think it's a little easier like that. Try to do it slower. My right hand's going forward and my left hand's going backwards. Now I'm going to switch. My left hand goes forward, while my right hand's going to go backwards. From the side view. Left hand goes forward, right hand's back. And switch. Right hand goes forward, left hand goes back. And speed it up. On program 2, we did the double inward figure eight, like so. Now what we're going to do is, we're going to have one hand's going to go up and one hand's going to go down. So our left hand's going to be spinning down while our right hand's up, and then we're going to switch them. Our left hand's going to be going up while our right hand's going down. And you're going to switch it every other one, just like this. So all you're doing is spinning the bottom chuck. Your right hand's going to go on the bottom, left hand goes on top, and spinning down and up at the same time. And then you're going to switch it back and forth. Go a little slower. Faster. As you can see from the side view, so I'm coming here and then switch. When doing this move, you want to make sure that they're evenly spaced. Like I said in program 2, you want them too close, otherwise they're going to clash, hit together. So make sure that they're evenly spaced, and it's the same thing as they're both going in, but instead of both spinning on the top and bottom at the same time, one's high and one's low, and then you're going to switch it. So the right hand's spinning down, and it's also down, while my left hand's up high, and it's spinning above. And you want to evenly space out the time so that they both switch at the same exact time. Just like this. And make sure they're not too close, otherwise they're going to clash and collide. Now what we're going to do is we're going to combine what we did on program 2. We had them both going in, the inward horizontal figure eight, and then we had them both spinning out, the outward horizontal figure eight. Now what we're going to do is, like we just did, they were both going in, but they were off-timed. We're going to have our left hand, and it's going to spin in. And we're going to have our right hand, and it's going to spin out. And we're going to do it at the same time. So it's going to look like this. Now it's different from this because they're both spinning in. They were both coming in at each other. And then they were just off time. This time, our left hand is going in, and our right hand is going to be spinning out. Okay? So our left hand is going to be on top, and then our right hand's going to follow. And it's almost like they're chasing each other. Left hand comes across first, and then the right, and the left, and then the right. Speed it up. From the side view. A little faster. Now what we're going to do is, we just did this move right here, and it's continue going in a circle. You can make it up a little, bring it up a little higher, bring it over your head, bring it a little lower. And then what you could do is, we could start on our left side of our body and make it more into a strike. So we're going to start both chucks on the left side of our body. Our left arm is going to come across first, inward. It's going to come in, and then it's going to come around. So you're going to come here, like that. And our right hand is going to follow. So our left hand's coming in, up, and down, while our right hand comes and does the same thing, but it's going out. Right hand's going out, and our left hand's going in. So from here, we're just gonna make it a little bigger and kind of bring it over our head and strike. Bring it over the head and strike down. As you can see from another angle, from the back view, now when you're doing this move, because it's kind of like a strike, when you bring it up over your head, make sure you put power into that and make sure you step. Okay, use your upper body to get that whipping sound. So like we did in program 1 and 2, start from one side of the room and go to the other, hitting walking stances, forward stances from angle to angle. So start on our left side, strike, strike, and go all the way down from one side of the room to the other. And then back. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that move and we're gonna put a spin in before it. So like we did on program 2 with the overhead double strike and we added that spin, we're gonna do the same thing but with this move. So our left hand's gonna come up first, then our right hand, we're gonna stall it out just like before and then strike. So 1, 2, and then strike. It's the same move, same as this, but as we're spinning, we're gonna stall it out a little bit and then cut. So, left leg's forward. What we're gonna do is we're gonna step before too. We're gonna step here. So we're gonna come up here, spin and strike. We're gonna step with the left. We're gonna spin on the heel and strike. So from here, 1 and 2. I'm spinning on my heel. Do it again. The other way, right leg back. We're gonna step with our right, spin, and down. Now you can strike like we did before with 2 strikes, coming down at the same time, or you can kind of strike 1, 2. So we're gonna come here, strike at the same time, and the other way. Or we can strike 1 and 2, like from program 1. Here, 1, 2. Now let's go over the move that we did in program 2. It was a double figure 8 alternating with extra spin. I'm gonna break it down quick again. Left leg's forward, so left hand spinning forward. Right hand goes back. Our right hand is gonna do just a figure 8. So we're gonna flip it over and figure 8. Now our right leg's forward, so it's going forward, and our left hand's going back. Now our right hand's gonna do the extra spin right there. It's gonna do the extra spin, now it's facing this way. Left leg's forward, right leg's back, so our right hand's going back. Left hand's going forward, left leg's forward. I'm gonna throw the extra spin right there, use that elbow. Now I'm spinning back, because my left leg is back, and my right leg is forward, so my right hand's forward. And then back again. So our right hand's just doing this, figure 8, and then extra spin. Figure 8, extra spin. Just like that. And our left hand's doing the same thing, but the opposite. They're always going in opposite directions. Whatever leg is forward, that same hand is spinning forward. So my left leg's forward, left hand spins forward, right hand spins back. And then I switch. Make sure in a deep forward stance and back and forth. From this angle, right leg's forward, right hand spins forward, left hand spins back. And I switch. Back, forth. And then you do the check. Sometimes when you keep doing this, you somehow mess up and one hand, it kind of switches on you. So make sure whatever leg's forward, that same hand is spinning forward. Make sure the nunchucks are completely straight. You don't want them on an angle like this. Completely straight. Then you eliminate the stances, and you get this. And then you go into a forward stance, and do the move just like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a spin to it. And we're going to spin into it and then spin back the other way. Now what you want to do is, let's put our right leg forward stance. I'm going to spin the chucks. Now don't try the spin unless you can do this really good. Once you've mastered this, spin the chucks back and forth. What you're going to do is, you're going to go back to this position. So from here, you're going to come here, but you're going to step back because we want to spin because our right leg's forward, we want to spin on our right leg. So spin the chucks like this. We're going to step back. We're going to go back to this position right here. I'm going to do it just with my right hand. We're going to come back here. We're going to spin all the way around, do the figure 8, and then continue back. So our right hand's just doing this from here. Figure 8 with the extra spin. Comes back to this position, and then back and forward figure 8. Now my left leg's forward. Do it again. From the side view. Do it again. And then a little faster. From this angle. Right leg's forward, spin on my right leg, and now my left leg's forward. Now I'm going to demonstrate from the back view. Same hand, right hand, figure 8 with the extra spin. We're going to get here, we're going to turn, just like we were doing before like this, but only with one hand. We're going to turn, it's going to be spinning back and then forward and right back to your extra spin. Do it again from this angle, here. Comes back, now it's going backwards and now forward. So I'm starting off going forward, my right leg forward, it spins backwards and then back to forward, now my left leg's forward. From this view, extra spin, I turn, it's spinning backwards, I spin, now it's going forward. Fast. Now I'm going to demonstrate from this angle. So we got our forward figure 8 with the extra spin. We turn, now it's going backwards, right there. That's when you start to spin. So you're here, and you're going to do your spin like that, right here. As you're spinning, that's when it starts to go backwards, and then it flips back over, and now it's going forward. So I got the figure 8 with the extra spin. As I start turning, it goes backwards right now, and that's when I turn. So from here, figure 8 with the extra spin, turn. Now I'm going to demonstrate without the chucks. So I'm doing my forward figure 8 with the extra spin. As the extra spin comes, that's when I start turning. Now it's going backwards. My left leg, before I start going backwards, my left leg should be ready to spin. So from here, as it comes down, going backwards, my left leg's coming, turning, spin, and then I go back into the forward spin. So I'm coming here, extra loop, spin, my left leg comes behind. As I spin around, I'm spinning on my heel, and then figure 8. I actually kind of spin on my heel, and then halfway through I kind of go on my toes. So I'm here. Figure 8. Then straight again with the chucks. Forward figure 8 with the extra swoop, spin. Now that was just part 1 of the 2-stepped move. So what we want to do is this move right here. Both chucks spinning with the extra spin with the 360 spin as we're spinning. So before we were just doing this and we spun around with the right hand. Now let's do it with our left hand. So we're doing the same figure 8 with the extra spin. And what you want to do is you want to bring it down, around, and back to the figure 8. So the nunchucks come in here. We're doing just like we did before with this, but only with just one hand right now. So we're coming here with figure 8. It comes down, around, and into our figure 8. I'm going to show it from this angle. comes down, around, and step, and figure 8. Now, really, the nunchuck's really not spinning forward and then backwards. It is and it isn't. What you want to do is, what really is happening is, the nunchuck's spinning one way. Like right now, it's spinning backwards. But if I turn this way, it's spinning forward. I'm really changing to the chuck. The chuck's not really switching directions. So if I face this way, this nunchuck's facing backwards. It's coming backwards at me. And if I go this way, it's going forward. So what you want to do is, when I'm spinning, it comes down and around. And before it gets a chance to go backwards, that's when I want to spin. Now when I spin up for this move, I spin on my heel and then my toes, so I don't fall over. If I spin just on my heel, I'd probably fall and go this way. But I'm facing this way, so I go on my heel and then I kind of even out on my toes and fall into my forward stance. So as you can see in close, I spin on my heel and then my toes and down. Do it again, here and down. So my left hand spinning, figure 8 with the extra spin, comes down, around, and out. Just like that. Now with the right hand, same thing. Now when you had both, you can do the same thing we did with step 1 here and step 2 with the left hand. We're going to do it with both the chucks at the same time. So they're both going to come around, spin, and out. I spin on my heel and then my toes. The last second, my toes come down, I go into my stance. From the front view, right leg forward, spin the chucks, comes down, my left hand comes first. My left, then my right follows. I'm going to demonstrate again. I start my right leg forward, I spin, and now my left leg's forward. Right back into here. Faster version. Again. From the side view. A little slower. And from this view. Fast. Now let's go into the forward wheel. The forward wheel I'm going to demonstrate. It's going to look like this. From the side view. So I'm going to break it down for you. What you want to do is hold the chucks just like this. You normally would without spinning them. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your left hand and we're going to chop out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand, we're going to pick it up, and we're going to come over and strike. And as we do this, our left hand's going to come under to our right armpit. So we're going to go 1, 2, just like that. 1, 2. Let's do it again. Chop, left hand comes to our right armpit as the right hand strikes out, just like this. Now you're going to bring your right hand down to your shoulder. You're going to chop with the right. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to strike with the left hand. It's going to come straight over. As we're coming over, our right hand comes to our left armpit. We're going to bring it down to our shoulder and then switch. Now this right hand comes down, chop, and do it again. Right hand comes down, chop as our left hand comes over and back down. So we're going to come here. So it's 1, 2, around, chop, strike again. Bring it around, chop, strike. Bring it around, chop, strike. Around, chop, strike. 1, 2, 1, 2. Bring it around, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then once you get that, just come around a little faster. You have it just like this. Now make it a little smoother. Instead of doing strikes, kind of just bring your arm all the way down. And it's going to look like this. Now once you can do this, then you can let the nunchucks out and you can have a forward wheel. from the side view, chop, chop over, left hand comes to our right armpit, comes down, around, chop, our left hand comes up, chop again. Left hand comes down, around, chop, right hand comes over, chops again. So left hand comes down, as it comes down, strikes, chops, the right hand comes straight over. That. On this side, comes down, right hand comes down, left hand comes down, follows, strikes, and strike again. Just like that. And you add the twirls, and it's gonna look like this. Now when you do this, a lot of people, what they do is, they make a small circle like this. Try to make it a little bigger, get your shoulders involved, moving from side to side. Use your upper body. You'll get more speed and power. And again, make sure you're in a nice stance, don't be standing up. You don't wanna get in a bad habit like that. And it's gonna look like this. From the front view. Another bad habit that people do is they only have one hand on top. So it'll look like this. They'll always have their left hand on top and their right hand on bottom, or their right hand on top and their left hand on bottom. And it's kind of lopsided. You want to make sure that your left hand's on top and then your right hand's on top. So it's like here, and you switch. That's why we broke it down. And our right hand's on top and our left hand's on the bottom. And then we switch, and our left hand's on top and our right hand's on the bottom. It's almost like an X here. And you spin, here. Right hand's on top, left hand's on top. And then you keep switching, and that's how you get your forward wheel. And again, just like all the other moves, you can practice by starting from one side of the room, going to the other, in a forward stance, step in and out, continue doing your forward stance, doing your move. Start from one side of the school and go to the other. It's a good way to practice. Make sure when you're doing this move, you're not spinning the chuck like this. It's just kind of coming down and then up, down and then back up. There's no real spin into it. So you're gonna come here, down and back up. Make sure also that you don't just spin the chuck in a small wheel like this. You wanna make it big. Use your shoulders, get your upper body involved. Also, make sure you're in a forward stance or some type of stance. It's a bad habit to stand up like this and do it. It doesn't look as good. It looks a lot better if you're in some type of stance. Also make sure that your right hand's on top and then you switch and your left hand's on top. Don't just do one side on top, it's gonna look lopsided. So make sure both hands come on top, big wheel, and you're in a nice stance. The side view. Now we're gonna do the same thing, the forward wheel, but we're gonna do it backwards. So forward wheel, we went forward or downward. Now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna go backwards or upward. Now, what you wanna do here, catch the nunchucks, hold them just like this. You can take your left arm, it's gonna come up in a circle on your left side of your body. Your right hand's gonna follow, and you're gonna make a big circle just like this, until you can't go anymore. Now once you get to this part, your right hand's gonna come across the other side of your body with the left, and then you're gonna make a circle again, until you get here. Once you get here, you can't go any further, so you're gonna switch sides, and you're gonna do it again. You bring your right hand across, left hand follows, make a circle. Left hand comes across, and make a circle. And once you get this, make it more into a more circular spin. And then once you have that, you can let them out, and you have your backwards wheel. So you have backwards and forward. Now we're gonna get to hand rolls. What a hand roll is what you're doing is you're spinning the chuck and it's wrapping around your hand and you're gonna catch it on the other stick. That's what a hand roll is. So I'm gonna demonstrate. Now, all I'm really doing is the nunchuck comes around my hand and I catch it on the other side and then I continue spinning. Now, when you're holding the nunchucks, there's two sides. There's positive, which the nunchuck's facing up, so this is positive. And this is negative when the nunchuck's facing down. Now you can hold it with one stick, it's still positive, And if it's facing down, one stick, negative. Or you can hold it too. So positive, negative. Doesn't matter if you're holding it at the bottom of the chuck, the top, doesn't really matter. But if the top piece is facing up, it's positive. Top piece is facing down, it's negative. So now when you hand roll, you're going from positive to negative, and then back from negative to positive. Now, I'm going to break down the hand roll. I'm going to spin the chuck up, and it's going to hit my hand. Now, I'm going to open up my hand, and it's going to hit off my pinky. So first, let's just do that. I'm just opening up my hand, and I stop it with the pinky. From the side view, as you can see up close. Now, my thumb is just holding the other stick. So the nunchuck is resting right in here. And when I open up my hand, the thumb just holds this stick, and the other stick comes around and hits my pinky. So first practice doing that, just opening up your hand. Once you get comfortable with that, what you're going to do is you're going to let go of the thumb, and before you drop it, you're going to grab the other side and then wrap it around. Now the trick is to do it faster, because if you do it slow, you're going to drop it. You don't have enough momentum. So what you want to do is you want to get enough speed, and it wraps right around. Now you don't want to throw it up and try to catch it. That's no good. Even if it's really close to your hand, you want to have control the whole time. So you want it to wrap around your hand. So you want to have wrapping around your hand the whole time, and then you can go back. So open up your hand, hit your pinky, still the other stick is wrapped in your thumb. You let go of your thumb, and you grab the other side. Then you're going to flip this stick back over. You're going to keep spinning it until it hits your arm. Now this is where your stopping point is. So from here, hand roll, and it hits off your wrist, right here. Demonstrate again. Hand roll, and hits my wrist. Now we're going to go back. We're going to stop. We're going to get control, because you don't want to do this. You don't want to hand roll and, you know, it's spinning up, you lose control. So you hand roll, it hits off your wrist. Now from here, you're going to whip it back, and you can do the same thing but in reverse. It's going to come around this way, though. It's going to hit your pinky right around your hand, right here. You're going to let go of your thumb. As you can see, my thumb right here, and my finger right here, there, is wrapped around the stick, and I'm going to grab on the other side. So back from the negative side, it's on my wrist, comes back around, and I grab it. From the side view, from the negative side, it's ready on my wrist, flips down, comes up around, I open up my hand, before it falls, I catch just like that. So hand roll back, negative side, hits off my wrist, comes back, and hand roll. Do it slow. Now if you can't see what I'm doing, you can hit the slow motion button and slow it down to see what I'm doing. I have control the whole time. It's wrapping around my hand, and I have control. Now make sure you're just as good with your left hand as your right hand. You want both hands equally good. So I'm going to do it again. I open up my hand, it's in my thumb. One stick is resting in my thumb. I open up my hand so it hits my pinky. I let go and I grab it on the other side. See, it's harder to do it slow. You want to get more momentum so you get more speed and you can get more control. So what I'm doing is, open up my pinky, it comes around. Now see how it's just flopping all over the place? I bring it to my wrist to get control. I stop it. Then I whip it back. I open up my hand. It's resting right in here, right in my thumb. I whip it back and around. So from here, hand roll to the negative side, hits off my wrist, back to the positive side. 1 and 2. Now you can do it with 2 hands. Both hand rolling at the same time. They both hit my wrist at the same time. I get control, and then I whip it back. So 1, 2. Now once you have it with your right hand, back and forth, and your left hand, then you can bring it to the side and go vertical up and down, hitting off your wrist and back. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now once you have that, then what you can do is you can come up and bring it to your shoulder and then back down. Bring it up to your shoulder. Notice how I spin it a couple times and then I go right into the hand roll, get more momentum and speed, because it's harder to hand roll slow, like I was explaining before, I almost dropped it. It's harder to, wrap your hand around when you're going slow. When you're going fast, you have all that speed and momentum and it just goes right around. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll hand roll and I'll spin it a couple times, and then I'll bring it down. So you're spinning up and down, the vertical on the outside of your arm. So really you're just spinning it like this. Like we're doing the clutching in program 1, we were going up, down, up, down. Same thing, but we're adding hand roll to it. Hand roll up to your shoulders and back down. Hand roll up, down. And to your wrists. Side view. Now that we did the horizontal hand roll from your shoulder and back down and to your wrist, let's do the vertical hand roll. So we're going to start on our left hip, and we're going to hand roll with our right hand. You can do the same thing. The thumb is tucked on this stick, and you're going to open up your hand so the other stick hits your pinky. And then you got to go really fast, otherwise you're going to drop it. So from here, and hand roll. And then you're going to come back the same way as we did it, horizontal. We're just doing it from a different angle. Now what I do is, when I hand roll to the negative side, my right side of my body, what I like to do is spin it once and then hand roll. Because you get more momentum than from just hand roll, back. Hand roll, I spin it down once, and then hand roll. You get more momentum, then you won't drop it. Now if your hand is off by a little bit, you're going to end up dropping the chuck. If you're bigger hands, you might want to hold the chuck a little down, lower. It depends on how long your chain is or cord. My chain is shorter, so I'm going to hold the chuck right around here so I can get my hand around it. If I hold it up here, I can't get my hand around, so it's not going to work. And I'm going to end up dropping it, just like that. But if you have a longer chain, then you can hold it up here, and then your hand will wrap around. Or if you're a bigger hand, you might want to hold it a little lower, depending on how big your hands are and the type of chucks that you're using. So again, I'm going to start on my left side, my right hand, I'm on my left hip, I hand roll to the negative side, my right hip, and I hand roll back. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then again, you want to do the same thing with your left hand. So you're going to start on your right hip with the left hand. You're going to hand roll on the negative side. Now on your left hip, you stop it and you spin back. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm going from positive to negative, and negative to positive. And there you have it. Once you have it with your left hand and your right hand, then you can do both. So we're going to do like just in program 1, we're clutching just like this, but we're going to hand roll. So we're going to do the extra spin. Left hand's on top, it doesn't really matter. My left hand's going to start on top, my right hand's on the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to hand roll to the negative side, bring it to our hips, and we're going to hand roll back. Now my right hand's on top. Hand roll, and now my left hand's on top. Make sure you switch it up. Left hand on top, then your right hand on top. Every other one. To the negative side, to the positive. 1, 2. And again, you want to hit a stance. So you want to be in a horse stance or a walking stance, forward stance. Here's some other moves that we can do from program 1 and 2. Our forward downward figure 8, but with hand rolls. So we hand roll on the inside, we flip it over, it's on our negative side, and then we flip it back to the positive. Negative, flip on the other side, positive. So it's on the negative side on the inside of our arm, and then we're going to flip it over to the positive side on the outside of our arm. Negative, positive. And then again with the left, and then with both. And then if you go forward, you can go backwards. Forward, backwards. I hope you enjoyed program 3. On this program, we learned the basics of the hand rolls. What you can do is you can take all the moves that we learned from program 1, 2, and the beginning of program 3, and do the same thing, but only add hand rolls. So you can do all our basic figure 8s, our basic strikes, and you can do them, but only add a little hand roll and add a little twist to it, make it a little more fancier for the more advanced chuck. Hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in program 4.